reach over to him to touch him, and his chest is not going up and down, so I touch his face, and his face is like ice cold.
The details are tough to hear. That was Crystal Henry describing the moment she realized her 9-month-old son was dead. Hello, thanks for joining us here on KREM 2 News. First at 4, I'm Jane McCarthy.
And I'm Tom Sherry. Joshua Mobley, the man accused of killing the 9-month-old, was in court this morning for a hearing. It was to decide whether or not that he should be allowed to move back home with his wife and 3 young children. He's now out of custody on bond, but as part of his release conditions, he's not allowed to be alone with children, including his own.
KREM 2's Lindsay Nadrich was in the courtroom and spoke with the 9-month-old's mother about the judge's decision today.
He was a happy baby. Like, he never cried. Like, he never gave me any trouble.
This is 9, almost 10-month-old Caiden Henry. Crystal Henry says her son was a happy child with a big appetite. She says the last time she saw him alive was when Joshua Mobley dropped her off at work, along with his wife Jennifer, the morning of February 26th. Joshua was in charge of watching Caiden, along with his own children, while they were at work. Crystal says she left work early that day and went to the hospital for an aneurysm in her eye. She says Joshua and Jennifer Mobley picked her up from the hospital later that night, with Caiden in the back seat. As she explained what happened that day, she now recognizes things weren't quite right.
They come, they pick me up, and they put me in the front seat. And I rode with them plenty of times, but they had never put me in the front seat when Jennifer was in the car.
Crystal says she was a little out of it because of medication she was given at the hospital. So when they got to her house, she says Joshua carried Caiden inside and laid him on her couch. She says she fell asleep on another couch across from him.
I reach over to him to touch him, and his chest is not going up and down, so I touch his face, and his face is like ice cold.
Crystal quickly realized Caiden wasn't breathing.
I touch his chest again, he's not breathing, and I'm like, I pick his body up. He was so cold, and I start calling. I call 911. I call 911, and they're trying to walk me through, giving him mouth to mouth.
Detectives say Caiden had bruises on his face and stomach. The medical examiner said Caiden died from blunt force trauma. Police arrested Joshua Mobley and charged him with second-degree murder. In court today, the judge approved a motion to allow Joshua to move back home with his wife and 3 young children who are all under the age of 6. The judge ruled Mobley is not allowed to be alone with any of his children, though, and must be supervised by an adult familiar with the case against him. Crystal told me the ruling is tough to swallow.
He can go trick-or-treating with his kids. He can go to his daughter's school dance, but Caiden will never get to go trick-or-treating again.
In a statement, Joshua's defense attorney, Carl Oreskevich, said, "We believe the judge's ruling was an appropriate ruling. Mr. Mobley has absolutely no history of any inappropriate contact with children. And in fact, everything that we've been able to learn about his background suggests that he is just an exemplary parent." After being pushed back several times, this case is now set to go to trial in February. Crystal just wants to know what really happened to Caiden.
It's hard because I feel like there's no justice for Caiden. Right now I'm his only voice.
Lindsay Nadrich, KREM 2 News.